Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Manga Recap. It's November 21st, 2025. And yeah, it's already that time. It's time to talk about manga.
Oh, I thought you meant like the holiday seasons are encroaching upon us once again.
I don't care about that.
Old man Winter is knocking at our door. No, just it's time to talk about manga. And I'm glad. I've been spoiled recently that I've had my boyfriend here for like the past 3 weeks, and he unfortunately had to return back to Iowa for a brief period. I will literally be seeing him within the next week, so it's not too long of a departure. But it was like a stark realization where I was like, I have to do my own dishes again. Like,
what kind of rotten deal is this?
This is bull crap. I have to put my own laundry away. Like, this fucking sucks. Like, I really had it great this past month.
I mean, aside from the recovering from surgery.
Yeah, but I was on painkillers for most of that.
Look how past Quinn was like, I can't move and stuff, and now present Quinn is like, it wasn't that bad.
You take the edibles and the painkillers and the stuff like that so that you don't, like, in the moment you're still like, ooh, but later on you can just be like, I don't even recall that. I played so much Hades though. Like, let's acknowledge that. I do also, we had to move this episode. Normally we record on Wednesdays. I had to record on a Friday because
This is a Friday, yes.
Yeah, I had to record, or I had a speech that was going to be due on Thursday. We didn't know what speaking order we had for our speeches until I think maybe Monday night, maybe it was Tuesday, something along those lines.
Were they like being held across multiple days?
Yeah, so there will be speeches given out for the next, I think, 6 class periods. Like,
oh wow, that's a huge window you didn't know about. That.
Yeah, I was truly like, you had to have a lot of your speech kind of done. Like, we had to submit like an outline that I was like, this is like a rough draft outline essentially, but like it's kind of something. And unfortunately, like, but it was only like 20 points out of like, the actual speech, which is 100. So that's where you're kind of putting your full attention. And I thank you for that. I needed the extra time to work on that speech. I accidentally submitted the wrong version of the speech that didn't have the big kind of graph that I needed to end on. So I had to extemporaneously kind of like, I was like, imagine, if you will, statistics that I don't remember the exact numbers of, but I had to, do that. It was like maybe like 2 slides were a little bit off that I had to kind of react to, but my professor praised me afterwards as responding well to my chart being wrong. So I take that to mean I didn't bomb, and I thank you for that.
That is a very, like, because the speech class that I had, it was always about, like, you have to just know this stuff, because as prepared as you're going to be, something is going to go wrong, and then rehearsal's not going to do any good. It's going to be knowing the material inside and out so that you feel comfortable speaking about it on the fly.
Yes.
And so, like, it might be that you're rushing. It might be that, like, you don't get an audience reaction that you get and you're going to be off your game. It's so you need to, like, just have that so that the material itself is like the most comfortable thing in the world to you.
Yeah.
So that is a good sign. I think that was a legitimate compliment from your prof.
Yeah, I imagine so. And this was one of the speeches I was most concerned about. In fact, this was the speech I was the most concerned about of everything I kind of have to do this year. This was like giving a topic in a presentation format that like you had to pick yourself. And I hate it when I have to pick my own topic. Like, if the topic's not like myself or something I'm innately interested in. But if it's like, hey, pick a current event and talk about that, I'm like, just give me something. I don't want to have to think about.
Yeah, I don't want to have to pick.
I don't want to overthink this because I legit spent like the last 3 weeks just panicking about like, what do I do? Do I talk about nuclear power? Do I talk about fast fashion? Do I talk about like scrambling all over the place before I eventually stumbled into talking about prison rehabilitation. And I was like, fine, like I can get enough sources on this. He had like a weird rule that you had to have all of your sources be within the past 2 years. So it made what you could talk about kind of limited in a certain way. So, but yeah, I appreciate the flexibility.
Absolutely. And as well, I think that I kind of need a little bit of a break too, not to get too deep and personal and not to bring the mood down, but like when we did the episode last week, I think that I was just going into a brief depression.
Oh,
So it was something that literally like the next day when I went into work, I was like, I need to take a day off. Like I literally took a day off last Friday because I was like, I just need a bit of time to just kind of ground myself and reset.
yeah.
And it was not until about Saturday that I started to feel properly normal again. Uh, I ended up realizing that I had like a lot of like tension in the back of my neck. And I think that it was like so bad that like I wasn't getting enough like blood to my brain to
Oh
feel
God.
normal. So I'm like doing well now because I've had enough time to like, relax and also to think back on like why I was in that place to begin with. I just wanted to just say, as a general piece of advice to anyone who is out there, look, you gotta take care of yourself before anything else. Like it is important, I know, to like get your work done so that you can, if you're in school, so that you can like get a good career because you've gotten a good education. If you've already got a job, it's important to, do your work so that you get paid and everything like that. If it is at all possible for you to afford to take care of yourself, I swear you need to do that because then you can properly do all the other really important stuff. And yeah, just a brief note on that. Like, I'm all good right now, and I've been doing like all the proper self reflection. I'm trying to make a few changes to not to like try and get better and stuff like that. And one of the things that does help me do better is to talk about manga with my best buddy. So I think that we should do that.
Aw, absolutely. Let's talk about manga, starting with Ichi the Witch.
Hold on, we got.
Oh right,
we did,
that's right. We have a recommendation to talk
when
about.
it's been almost 2 months. I can't do another week without us talking about Bad Girl Exorcist Reina.
Yeah,
It's been so long since I actually read this series.
yeah. I guess I should preface this by saying Nick is going to be reviewing Bad Girl Exorcist Reina. I just did not get a chance to read this series. I really thought I'd be able to make time, and I just have not been able to make time for this series, and I feel bad now to this point. So we're just gonna get this one out of the way.
This, especially because like this was something that I picked out. It was supposed to be a Halloween series, and between us like not syncing up and you having a lot of stuff in your life that it was very important to deal with, we just haven't had a chance to do Halloween stuff this year. Sorry, guys. But I did read this manga, so I'll talk a bit about it. Its Japanese title is Furuyo Taimashi Reina. It's by Otosama. It was a line manga, ran from October 2018 to October 2021. It is, however, not licensed in English. So it was like freely available in Japanese, and you can't get it in English properly. Premise is that there is a new transfer student into this school named Reina Suzuno. She is a bad girl. She's a delinquent. She's a gyaru. She's got blonde hair and she's all tough and she's kind of mean to people, really not considerate of others. But it turns out that a lot of the times that she is just being inconsiderate and rude to people is when she's actually punching evil spirits haunting the school in the face, and nobody can tell what she's doing because they can't see spirits and stuff. So over time, she ends up kind of getting this small club of people whose problems she solves after they initially take her to be a very mean, crude person, which she kind of is, legitimately. But they start to understand the good that she is doing, and they form a little club and help her out. And that's kind of it. It's a comedic series. That basically features on, hey, here's this horrifying spirit monster thing. It's very scary up until Reina shows up and punches it in the face, and then it's very cowardly and meek. And a lot of the comedy comes from the contrast of this terrifying thing just getting punched in the face.
Yeah. Didn't sound like this is too memorable of a series. No, like, super fun, wacky characters or anything like that.
Well, the weirdest character that's part of the main cast, to give you an idea, is Tendo, who is this big, muscular jock kind of guy. He is possessed by the spirit of his deceased little sister, who manifests primarily as a like a giant pimple with her face on it, basically. And so there will be times when they're just doing stuff, and then she'll just kind of show up. Reina will do stuff like, demand that he take his clothes off so that she can check him for, his little sister spirit pimple thing. And there's wacky misunderstandings because they're like, oh my God, she's making that guy strip naked and stuff. And then wouldn't you know it, sometimes Tendo's little sister just fully takes over his body and he does, like cutesy little girly things like, wear makeup and put his hair in pigtails and it's hilarious. So, look, I don't think that this is as frustrating as some of the, comedy Exorcist series that we've seen in the past, like Spirit Buster Murakami, whatever it called, Yokai Buster Murakami. What was it? The
Was that the one with it was the yokai jokes, but they weren't, they were a lot of butt jokes, I feel like.
Right, right. That one greatly filled me with anger. This one I primarily felt kind of just indifference towards. I did think that it was at its best when it was actually leaning into the horror setup. But sometimes I feel like the punchline is disappointing. For example, there's this urban legend that developed on 2chan or whatever Japanese, boards of this tall woman in a wide hat. It's kind of like the Japanese equivalent of Slender Man.
Okay.
And that shows up as a spirit in this series. It's haunting their teacher. And we learned that as a boy, it traumatized him because this spirit primarily, torments children by appearing to them as if it's like a normal adult woman and then trying to hunt them down. And so he encountered it. They managed to hide him from her and until they were able to get him safely out of town. But he's been traumatized by women ever since. And all of that is treated as a joke, as in the teacher, oh, he can't be around women because he's gynophobic now, because this, this spirit, tormented him. And B, when that spirit does show up, and Reina beats it the hell up, and hey, this day is saved and stuff. She then forces it to just be her gopher, like her slave, and she says, "Yeah, this thing's just a." It's she basically says this thing's just a pedophile, and that's just kind of it. And it's all right, well, but that's I don't really find that funny that you just say well, this, yeah, man, this thing's just a huge pedophile, and it's okay, but do you have anything else? Because there was a whole lot of setup. There was an entire chapter dedicated to setting up this spirit as this very scary thing that had this horrible impact on this guy. So yes, you can turn that into a joke, but I want it to be a funny joke, and I want it to go deeper than than just man, this thing sucks, doesn't it? And, all right.
I guess that's all we're gonna get from it.
And over time, it seems as though things sometimes get kind of serious, but it always just ends in Reina just kind of punching stuff. There's also a bit of a weird ecchi quality to the series, and it's kind of got that thing that New Exorcist does, where it sometimes feels like this doesn't feel as erotic as it's supposed to, based off of the clothing that these characters are wearing and stuff. It just doesn't seem like it's well executed in its eroticism. But then again, I don't think I'm the target audience for the kind of thing and have I don't think that it's bad, but after I got about halfway through it, I was like, I feel like, yeah, and I'm kind of settled on this. I did get through to the end. They kind of do try and go for more of a nostalgic kind of high school graduation sort of thing at the end, and that's about it.
All right. Well, that's a bummer. Was it spooky? Did you ever get scared?
That was the thing is that during the setup of some of the spirits, I don't know if I ever got actually scared properly, but I felt tension.
Yeah.
Like there's these characters that feel like they are in danger with these spirits coming to them, and so the release of Reina showing up and beating the fuck out of them, it's a very satisfying whiplash to go from these things are very scary to, oh, these things are pathetic. She just punched the hell out of them. So to see like this tremendous evil brought low into this pathetic state, there is something that on its face is satisfying and funny about that. It's just that if you're going to see that repeatedly, comedy lives and dies on, two things. If you like the same joke being repeated over and over, and if not, can there be unique and inventive and entertaining variations on that? And it doesn't feel like there's enough variation in the way that the jokes land in that afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
All right. Well, there you go. Bad girl Exorcist Reina. Ready to move on then to the recap
Now
portion?
we're gonna do Ichi the Witchy. Yeah. It's so we are in the setup where Jika Shirane had promised to help out with saving the day with everyone because oh no, the baby is gonna be gored horribly if she doesn't do anything. So we get 59th Hunt shifting futures, and looks like, briefly, that Minerva gets killed by the Octobomb magic before we are quickly shown that, okay, no, this was a vision that Jigashirane had, which is that, okay, as long as she stays on the chronostasis, Kizashi is going to kill her. Funnily enough, there is a little sea shanty that happens that accompanies this, however. And it goes pretty hard too, because it goes like yo ho.
Yeah, I think it's time for she shanties to come back. They had a brief renaissance in early 2023 on TikTok, but I think now is the time to really like start. Like, let's get a Bad Bunny she shanty song, Like, let's like really bring the culture back.
As someone who does not believe in pop music, I don't believe that sea shanties should ever have gone away. So
Nick's like, my favorite songs are all still sea shanties. They have been forever.
one of the few songs that I can sing is a sea shanty because you don't have to sing them. So
That's very true. That's very true. Well, I enjoy this sea shanty as well. I hope a metal band becomes really big fans of Ichi the Witch, so they make a metal band sea shanty cover of this.
yeah, and don't just use AI because fuck you. So Descaris asks Jikashirane when Kizashi is due to arrive, and she says it's going to be tomorrow night, which Descaris says, oh, that's pretty bad. That means we've got only until tomorrow to get Minerva as far from the ship as possible. And she brings up that this is going to be, kind of difficult because there's only so many people who can actually pilot the comets, the hoverboards, basically, to get them out of there. Minerva and Ichi cannot power them. Ichi because, he's unconscious right now. So Descaris also says, like, okay, there is a mirror over on the shore, which will allow them to go straight to Manton Q. But while they're on the move, they need someone to stall Kizashi. And so Descaris asks Chrono if he can do that. Minerva, before he can answer, pulls him into a sweet kiss round the lips, and she tells him, I'll be fine and I'll keep our baby safe. When you're done, come and get me. And he goes, okay. Because Crow is nothing but, if not verbose, and he keeps his emotions on his sleeve. certainly.
He's very straightforward, and I like that. You know, I do see why this woman is charmed by him, because there is a quiet sexiness to him in that this man never speaks, but like you can kind of tell he's also a wife guy.
I watched Frankenstein with Nicole last
Oh.
weekend.
Any good?
Uh, it's very good, like really, really good.
I
Uh,
hate not having Netflix sometimes because there's
mm,
really good things that I'm like,
there are some really good things on it.
I
Yeah,
need you to be available on Tubi.
yeah. She needs to be in other places, certainly. But there is, definitely a vibe of like strong, silent monster guy that, a certain section of people that is growing increasingly visible in recent years has a love for, and I feel like Chrono would definitely fit firmly into like the monster husband demographic. Deskar says that like, all right, let's get this going, but Jigishirine realizes that something is off, and then we cut over to Kizashi coming in, and he's super excited, and he's like, "I'm all reborn," because he's fully regenerated and stuff. Gets back on the ship, and when he gets there, Chrono is just kind of standing in the same doorway that he was way back at the beginning of this arc. That's like his favorite place on this ship is just the door. And Kizashi says, "I'm good. All right, give me 1 second, and then we can be best friends." Because I'm and Chrono's like, "You're gonna kill my wife, right?" Yeah, yeah. He's like, "I'm not gonna let you do that." And he says, "With prophecy on our side, we can read your moves like a book." And he starts to move his hand to use his chronostasis ability, but coming out of a portal behind him, le gasp! It's the waiter. Well, the fake waiter, the guy who's serving the world hater magic. But
Yes.
he's there, and he's bad. So it looks like, oh no, this is awful. And then, ha ha, he's been cut in half. Uh, and Descarus comes up from over the side of the deck, and we get this big 1.5 page spread face off between Chrono Weaver Magic and Descarus on one side, Kizashi and the fake waiter on the other. Very, very dynamic poses they're doing.
I was gonna say very strong contender for 2 page spread of the year for in my mind. This is really cool. It's the energy that as a child I had watching the X-Men opening and seeing the good guys and bad guys around each other, but now they're actually doing something. Like there's something visually cool going on that I really appreciate. And
Yeah,
yeah.
that running into each other thing that grows increasingly weird the older you get as you look at, because like, are they just gonna like bump teeth like Momo and Okarun? Like,
And also if you look at it, I'm like, why is what's his name?
Warpath
Not Warpath.
or Thunderbird?
Thunderbird. That's what it is. Thunderbird, I think, is on the bad guy side. If you look at it,
Yeah,
yeah, you're like, always a good guy. I don't like maybe not the best of good guys. You know, he's a little angry, but like always an X-Men in his time in the comics.
that's why I think it was Warpath, because Warpath had at least a small window of time where he was like vengeful against the X-Men because his brother
Yeah,
had been
he was.
killed,
You
I
know,
think.
during the time he was a Hellion, I guess it could be. Probably makes more sense. I honestly don't remember a lot about the old animated series, except that I watched it, and I always remember being annoyed that Colossus was only on one episode.
There are some great X-Men that are on very few episodes of that series. It is no wonder that when they brought it back, they were like, Nightcrawler's the main character.
Nightcrawler's in here. I don't know why he wasn't in here to
He
begin
gets
with.
his own introduction in the animated sequence.
Yeah.
And 90% of the female audience of X-Men was like, yay!
Finally. It's just me over here being like, Colossus, please! Some morsels for us.
Oh, anyway, so Kamugi and everyone else are all flying away together, and Kamugi's like, "Oh my gosh, your prophecy was completely accurate, Master Jikishirine." And Jikishirine explains that in that prophecy that we got the whole sea shanty thing for, there was like the use of the plural we and our in it, because it was from Kisashi's perspective, and she concluded that meant there had to be multiple enemies we would have to deal with. So Kizashi and Hitsugi. So they're like, now we just gotta like get out of here while Descaros and Chrono are stalling them. But as she says that very determinedly, her nose starts bleeding, and Kamugi gets concerned, and she admits that because I did multiple prophecies so quickly together, that there is a drawback to that. But she says, I'm going to get as many of them as I possibly can from here on out, because she's on the side of the angels, at least currently. So she warns everyone that because her prophecies, they tell the absolute future, if you're going to change it, half-hearted attempts will not work. Hunt like a human possessed for any possible solutions, even crazy ones. It is your job to change fate. At that moment, Gokuraku, who is standing at the forefront of their transportation, says, "Leave it to me. I'll keep you safe even if it costs me my life." And we end on a very cool little couple of panels of Descaros and Chrono, and there's like droplets of water that are reflecting their foes as well. It's very cool.
Yes. Very, very cool stuff. Good action. Like, I'm excited to see these, miniature fights coming up. And, I'm glad Gokuraku also gets to be a big hero moment here of like trying to lead everyone away. I mean, it's not going to work out for him because Ichi's there and he's got to have like a big, heroic, like rise back up moment. So something has to like interfere in some way. But hey, like, let's make Gokuraku look cool. I appreciate it. New Sex just brings
it feels like this is going to be an actual team effort to do this.
New Sextus, meanwhile, will just bring up a new girl after every arc, and you're just like, wait, I was just starting to know the last one.
Hold on, I don't know all their names yet. I'm sorry. Can we go back?
I need like a flow chart that could be visible on like my wall so I can remember all the girls. There's got to be like enough room that I could put like little blurbs like, this is the one from the beach. This is basketball
Quinn, there are 3 from the beach. I don't remember the third one's name. I think they're Sujita and Kuga, I think is the slender ponytail girl's one. But there's another black-haired busty one that's not Sujita, and she's there with them too.
It's like that awkward situation in life where you're like being like reintroduced to someone. You're like, oh no, I don't remember your name. Which one are you? Ooh. And you try to throw something out there. You're like, hey, champ, how you doing?
Oh my gosh. Speaking of awkward situations, Quinn, Blue Box.
Oh boy.
I've got someone on my side. Oh yeah, last time Hina did some very nice things and made sure and helped Taiki to feel better about his current situation by realizing that, all of the stress that he's experiencing does not make him weak. But then she ruined it all by being like, God, I love Taiki, and kissing him on the cheek without warning. And now, in this chapter, she immediately goes, ah ha ha ha, yeah. Comfort each other.
Oh boy, that moment where you're like 1,000... we have to get through it. We just have to get through it.
Yeah. So afterwards, she just decides, okay, this is a bit lame excuse, and goes, yeah, sorry. I guess I still like you. Sorry. And just
oh no,
runs away.
I know the pain of apologizing too many times in an awkward situation. Poor Hina. She made the wrong call. And it sucks. She's so young, and she's just gonna have to live with the fact it's like, oh, that was that was not the move to make. I don't know what I thought. She's
going to be waking up in her 40s, being like, I gotta do that.
Yeah, this is this is like a canon event happening where you're like, if I could, I would stop this, but I do think it's actually somewhat important that you make mistakes. But man, I wish it wasn't this one.
Yeah. So Taiki imagines Kyo comes to talk to him to give him wisdom, as if Kyo is dead.
This was so funny because there was a moment afterwards where I was like, wait, has Kyo ever been real? Like I had to stop and I was like, no, he's like touched it and interacted with people.
He's gonna be so disappointed.
I was like, was Ayame just always like talking to a ghost and like characters walk by, they're like, Ayame's really got off the deep end since the last breakup.
She's just talking to this imaginary perfect boyfriend and
She thinks it's real because she says Kyo and then our sound comes in like the Kyo and it's actually the ghost going like Kyo. She's in love with that.
I have to imagine that this is just that Kyo is also on Taiki's mind because he's so stressed out over the fact that, like, shit, either myself or, like, my best friend are going to have our Batman careers essentially end in this tournament. So he's on his mind already. And also, Kyo is, like, the one person that he turns to in weird love life debacles like this. So it's not unusual from a couple of perspectives why he does this. It's just that this is kind of the way that you do, like, my dead.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is framed exactly.
I imagine him giving me this advice.
It's framed exactly like Kyo is like Taiki's older brother who died in a car accident 3 years earlier, and he's like, if only I could come to you for help right now. I'm like, Kyo's not dead. Like, you just have a Batman match against him. You could call him on your phone and be like, yo, something wild just happened with our mutual best friend. But the chapter does seem to be very much telling a story of like who Taiki really feels like he could turn to. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's a moment of him wanting this comfort from Kyo, but because this match is coming up and because
he can't actually talk to him.
Because there is this mutual kind of friend involved, like he maybe just doesn't know how to bring it up. And it, ultimately leads him to turning to Chinatsu as he does later on in the chapter.
Yeah. The way that Taiki processes this in the moment is that he realizes that I kind of just like felt like we were just going to go back to like being best friends and that she had enough time for things to go back to normal. And now I realize she's actually been hurting this whole time, which is not inaccurate. Let's call it. So, and also he brings it into the fact that like he's got all this pressure on him because there are all these people who have been supporting him this entire time. And he's like, I can't lose now because there's all these people who have been putting this work into helping me. And then because he's, in an area next to a zoo, he sees a little kid trip and get comforted by his mother. And he goes to talk to Chinatsu. And we see Chinatsu for a little bit at her job, just like, like getting along with some of the clients, seeing that fortunately, like her employers seem to actually like give a shit about her and care about her well-being and stuff. And then when she goes outside to finish up her shift, turns out Taiki has been waiting on the curb for her. And he just says, yeah, I kind of wanted to go home together. And the Chinatsu's employer realized like, oh, this is your boyfriend. This is the guy whose mom is in the hospital. Come on in. Have you had dinner? What a sweet woman.
She is sweet, yeah. There was like a little moment that's like, oh, but he just wants to go home. And then I was like, no, he needs to get this like home cooked meal right now while his mom's in the hospital and everything.
Yeah. So Taiki is served some good food, like multiple bowls. Like they are not like just here, have some gruel. They give him like a
how fucked would that be if they were like, great. Boy, we heard about your mom being in the hospital. Come on. Here's some crappy oatmeal though. Like we're not a charity house, all right? Like
our last guest spat out these eggs. You can have them.
Yeah, these eggs fell on the floor. Taiki, please just dust the glass off and eat your fill.
While he eats, though, Chinatsu starts doing some origami, and she explains like, yeah, there was a girl on our basketball team who broke her bone, and so we're making 1,000 paper cranes to just get for her. And she, like just starts bringing the mood up. She makes a little thing and starts doing like a little voice and like puppeting it and stuff. And then she says, oh, have you ever done this? Have you ever done this? And then she's like, oh, there's this origami I also used to make all the time. And she makes like a little medal. And she said, yeah, so like Yumika and I would get into free throw contests as kids. So whoever won would get a little paper medal and stuff. And Taiki's like, yeah, that's nice. And she gives him the paper medal and says, oh, this is your daily early bird reward. and this one's for having lofty goals. This one's for working hard without ever giving up. This one's for always respecting and caring for others. For always cheering me on with all. This one's for never. And she says, there are so many, and you should praise yourself more. And she says, I know what it is like to play in, my final game, and I get what you're going through right now. And in times like this, when you've got all these thoughts swirling in your, it's really important, more so than ever, to figure out what your heart is saying. The people around you right now like you, Taiki. Their opinion of you is not going to change. Even if you live selfishly at times, your inherent kindness will still shine through. I'm sure that everyone is cheering for the Taiki Inamata who follows his heart. I want you to charge forward recklessly the same way you did when you thought I was moving abroad and told me that I needed to make goals. You always ask for one more match to the point where your opponent makes a face over it. After you win, you declare proudly behind the gym. Even if you sometimes lose confidence, you'll win. Right? And by the time that she has gotten through all of this, the wells opened up. Taiki has started crying and just letting everything out. And he thinks to himself, I've got someone on my side, and she's telling me it's okay to just be myself. I feel like we've been on a little journey with Taiki during all. Kind of felt every single chapter, the muscles tighten just a little bit more. So this feels like, yeah, really, really needed this. And I'm glad to see it come from Chinatsu. It's nice to see their relationship portrayed this strongly. Or they have that for each other.
It's very, very sweet. I'm glad Taiki is able to feel that relief that comes from having, that kind of powerful love where you're able to feel free to be everything you need to be, including the times where you need to be very vulnerable and very stressed and very in need of support. It's very, very good that he has that with him, and happy for them.
Yeah. It is interesting that we got 2 back-to-back chapters where, like, Hina and Chinatsu both tried to do the same thing. And I think that you see, however, the difference between someone who actually sees Taiki for who he really is and someone who, as much as she knows Taiki, still has that part of her that's putting him on a pedestal. And hope that, Hina finds someone that she doesn't have that hang up with.
I wanted to hard cut to Hina inside of a rage room just hurling bank vault safes through walls. She's just in a pure Hulk rage. Why did I do this? I'll never forget this day.
I am also curious if we are going to get Taiki admitting hey, by the way, a girl kissed me. So.
I have to assume so. It'd be a real bad move for him to not bring it up. But I can also understand maybe not bringing it up in that moment where he's finally feeling that sense of relief. Maybe that'll be a next chapter thing, or I don't know. It could even be a joke later on. Taiki just brings it up casually or something like that to be hey, you got to know this happened or something like that. But I have no idea, because you could easily sell it for drama in another series as a volume long will they, won't they find out kind of thing.
The reason that I think about it is not in the way that I would think about it in a lot of other series that have that twist happen, where you're oh my gosh, is so-and-so gonna fight? Okay, how is this series going to handle that element? Because I do not expect it to be used in the way of why didn't you tell me? And all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that in terms of how it'll play out. You know what else I'm looking forward to seeing, Quinn? Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 28, New Powers.
Does Sumire just not own an outfit that's her school uniform? Like it's just the only thing she's ever owned. She's never worn
Stop
anything.
calling me class president. By the way, I'll never stop wearing our class uniform.
I'm like, yeah, maybe you would be like acknowledged as more of a person if you ever wore something that wasn't just the school uniform I've seen no one else wear.
Sometimes I feel like bullying Ikimoto. Like,
Flying to,
right, better.
flying to Japan and slapping the back of his head and be
Right,
like, come
better.
on.
So we see that Inojin has developed his super awesome cool new jutsu thing that he learned about through hacks. um, there is tension between him and Boruto because, yeah, he still thinks that Boruto is the one who betrayed them because, he hasn't gotten that memo thing. Boruto, motherfucker, says, because, like, Inojin is acting very, like, protective towards Himori because he's got a crush on her. So Boruto says, like, I haven't accepted you either. So remember this, if you make Himori cry even once because he's her protective older brother, I'll shave that ridiculous haircut off until you're bald. Boruto, stones and glass houses. What the fuck are you talking about? You look ridiculous. Anyway, I'm gonna go pose in my chair.
I love that any character in this series would have the balls to like insult someone else's haircut. Like, I'm sorry, man, this is not a series for good dudes.
Who has the most normal hair in the Boruto cast? And I don't mean like from like older members that are just. It's probably Sumire, actually. I think she's got the most normal hair out of everyone because she just wears it in like pigtails.
Yeah, the perpetual pigtails, though. Like, again,
That is true. That's a lot of work in those braids.
Yeah, I think it might work out better if she wasn't constantly in like the 12-year-old schoolgirl mode. Like, she might as well just have like the bag and an apple in her pocket or whatever. Yeah,
Just
I don't.
perpetually has a piece of toast in her mouth.
It's certainly not Kawaki.
No. Sarada's it has like all the
It's
stuff.
it's not Damon. It's not all of the members of the evil villain group that exist right now.
Pain's got the strap, so it can't be him, right? Because like the strap is like in the dew, like it can't be him.
Code, you mean?
Code, yes. It might be Kashin Koji, actually.
Yeah.
Because
Now, granted, he's just meant to be like a hunkier Jiraiya clone, isn't he?
is he?
I mean, I don't think that was his lore specifically. They're like, we can bring him back and make him hunkier, make him more daddy. But I do think he's supposed to be like a younger Jiraiya or something like he's.
I guess
he's some kind of Jiraiya clone.
because he's got the frogs, yes.
Yeah.
Toads, whatever. Anyway, so Boruto, after that sick burn on Inojin's ridiculous haircut, is like, anyway, I have to have the last word. And bamps away so that Inojin doesn't get a comeback. There is, so Konohamaru and Mitsuki have been meanwhile brought in for questioning. Sai is suspecting that something is up. And God, there's so much dialogue in this chapter, so I'm not going to go on that. I feel like Boruto gave Sumire his sword to fix up like 5 minutes ago, and she's already upgraded it. I don't know. Like, I know she got the blueprints to do it, but you think that there is some form of labor and installation of this stuff that needs to be done. It's all done. Here's your new sword, buddy.
It's convenient because wouldn't it have been annoying to have to like wait and see if like Boruto could earn it or something like that? I mean, like we're already establishing, we're already establishing this boy sees into the future to learn all of his future techniques now. Like, why not just give him his new sword now? Why put time into any effort that Boruto does?
The way that Kashin Koji gives them the hacks in order to get new powers, that's like a joke set up from comedy isekais. I fought the evil lord, but I can see into the future and so techniques. Like,
yeah.
So Sumire gives him the lowdown on how it all works. She warns him that it will maintain the Uchiha Blade Jutsu Hagoromo on its own once he's gripped the hilt and activated it. He notes that it absorbs his chakra, and she says, by the way, there's a safety measure in it. that I also installed so that if anyone else tries to take it, then it'll rapidly drain their chakra. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Wait, they did that already with the lightsaber thing in part one. They used the fact that someone else tried to use the sword. It wouldn't made them go, "Oh shit, that's taking on my chakra." Cool. So, ah, God, you can't even come up with cool techniques. Fuck you, man. So,
It really is the bare bones of an action shonen manga at this point. It has no cool fights. It has no cool power ups. It has no cool weapons. Like I truly like. I just don't understand what anime fans are enjoying in it. I'm like, I know what hooked me as a child. Like I can look at the blueprints and be like, yes, the cool powers, the awesome abilities. Like, is it just the quote unquote aura that carries Boruto for people? Because there is truly nothing that like
value.
yeah, I was like, nothing about it is memorable.
I came across a post that somebody made, which was like, naming examples of like, characters like being spotted for being fakes because they act out of character. So someone brought up the example of like, hey, remember early on in Naruto where Sasuke comes up with the code phrase while they're in the test of death? And he makes it deliberately complicated so that when, like someone imitating Naruto gets it exactly right, he's like, there's no way Naruto. And then later on, Naruto comes bursting in and he's like, I forgot the code phrase. And it's like, there's so much character in that moment. And I was just like, God, stop making me remember that this franchise used to be good. Because there's all these characters that just like are the same person, feels like. And there's so many of them that talk in this one chapter. Shikamaru is talking to his son, and it feels like they're not related to each other in these several pages. It's really annoying, and Shikamaru is basically just saying, I am doing this because I think it's the right thing to do. And Shikadai is like, I don't know about that, father. Like, Kashin Koji gives what feels like unnecessary levels of explanation and detail to Inojin about how his powers work and why he doesn't just hack more. And he's like, I only tell you the most important things because if I told you too much, you might hesitate. And there is briefly one of the possible futures that he has seen at some point where Ada gets treed and Himawari is killed and Ninojin is crying with her in his arms. And there's no indication that this is like a vision or a flashback or anything because it's got all the same framing as everything else because Boruto doesn't do that. It doesn't let you know when there's a flashback or anything visual. You just have to pick it up from context clues otherwise. Then Shikamaru gets in contact with everyone, just every character that has had some role in Boruto thus far, it feels like. So Kawaki and Mitsuki and Ada and Chocho and Himawari and Delta and Amado and Sumire and Sarada and you might as well make a list of the people he doesn't get in contact with, and then he goes on to say, these select few are all that I'm telling this to. It's like a dozen people.
This elite secretive 31 members will be the only people who know this terrible secret.
And he explains that the only reason that they can do this is because Inojin did a new jutsu. It's a new type of telepathic
He made a
communication.
Slack channel. He made a secret Slack channel that only the conspiracy members can see and hear. And cool. Could have been a lot like more triumphant of a moment if you wanted it to, if you did anything with the paneling.
He could have done like something where you saw him earn it and like told last chapter, you'll develop this in the next chapter. Oh, I developed it. Fuck this.
It's like
all of it.
It's like every so often Kishimoto's like, oh, my characters can't do that. I'll just write them to be able to do it. And it'd be like, dog, just do it. Like, don't even show us it. Just be like, yeah, Inujin could always do this. They just developed this technology at some point, you know?
Do you even like shonen? Like, come on. Like, fucking Dragon Ball would do that sometimes, where Goku would just show up and be like, I've got a new power. And be okay, sure.
I can teleport now, guys. Like, all right.
Okay. He didn't go, it's going to be really important that I learn how to teleport. Actually, he did do that with the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb.
Hey, the spirit bomb eventually mattered.
So, in addition to the Slack channel, it also works as radar for picking up, fucking divine tree people. Sure. Okay. So, Shikamaru says, I'll now explain Mamushi's abilities and how to deal with them in the mission. Fortunately, we don't sit through that. Mamushi shows up, and I just realized in this panel of him in full view, he doesn't wear pants. And I was terrified by that.
Well, he is like the creepy little pervert of the group of
I guess.
a group that are all kind of creepy little perverts when you get right down to it, but
So everyone has to start heading out in order to deal with that. And Boruto shows up and chops up one of the Mamushis with the sword thing. And only when this happens do the people the Mamushi was, let's be real, going to eat, are they like, oh my god! Like, they acting. Because in this village full of ninjas, everyone sucks. They all incompetent now. Peace was a mistake because it made all these people stupid. Like, God. A bunch of Mamushi clones start growing out of one of them, and they start to attack, and they start to fight, and Boruto goes, fu pa fu, and two of them, like, start doing fire, and Boruto uses karma in order to absorb the fire. Yep, okay. Quinn, unbelievably, before I started talking about this chapter, my initial reaction to it was, this actually wasn't that bad for a Boruto chapter. And I'm not sure if I believe myself now.
I've started to spare myself the pain of going through Boruto twice. I kind of just read it as we read it for the recap now, where I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know what, sure. It's all nonsense. It's all gibberish.
You please take us through Dandadan now.
Yeah.
And get us away from this bad series.
Let's talk about Dandadan, Chapter 217, The Ogre Club. So, last time Mr. Driss attacked, but Okarun revealed that he had figured out the secret to the Ogre Club, and he has activated it, and it charges with energy, and he holds it like a sword, almost. It glows with power, and Momo's like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is incredible. You can do that? And then Okarun starts to have performance anxiety, and the club starts to lose its power, and he's like, whoa, come back. It's worth notable that the Viz Media account did send this chapter out like, Okarun, now's not the time to have performance anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, you can't see that panel without thinking that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okarun is basically explaining, like, hey, I can't really use this thing so well. Like, I'm supposed to charge it with spiritual power, but it's very difficult to do that. He brings up that, like, I got this stick from Miseko, and we have Momo be like, oh, wait, you're learning from my grandma. But hey, Mr. Driss is about to attack again. The Serponians are also firing off their attack, and the weird effect going on where, like, the road doesn't exist, but the letters do, essentially, the kanji. They are still stuck kind of trying to stand on this very precarious spot. And it's looking pretty bad. There's a moment of three of the Serponians kind of looking on and locking in their ability. It looks like Okarun is going to get done for, but the attack is blocked as an individual shows up. And the person goes, what's the meaning of this? Why do you people have the whistle? And it's the robot lady, who I believe Tatsu is not naming at this point specifically to hurt me exclusively.
I'd Wilma, come on.
They are identified.
Jolly Regina, how's that?
Jolly Regina. They are referred to as a Kerr combatant, so I can at least say the Kerr or something along those lines now. Also, Momo eventually says Ventura over and over again. I didn't know if that's a reference to something, though. So, I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to it. But the Kerr is basically very angry because, first, they've been subjected to baking bread, and now they have to help these people like they're mortal enemies. But we get a flashback of the Kerr speaking to Saint Germain, and she is complaining about how the suit you gave me is heavy and weak. And Saint Germain's like, yeah, it sucks to suck, basically, skill issue. And she's like, hey, no, I like, this isn't a joke. I am helping you, so you have to listen to me. And he's like, nah, don't wanna. But he says, okay, in agreement, I will give you one more job. You see this whistle? When it is blown, the shop's lamp will light, and if you see it lit, then I want you to go help the person who blew this whistle. The ship, the suit's GPS system will send you there. And if you do that, I will give you a very powerful suit. But he says, however, this too is work, so please see it that you do it properly. So the Kerr is unfortunately, stuck in a situation where the person who blew the whistle is her mortal enemies, basically, right now. So she is like grabbing her head like, whoa, why is it gotta be like this? While Momo's just like, hey, you don't have to kill us. We're totally friendly. But Okaru's like, please don't antagonize her. The Sarponians are like, we wish you would not get in our way. Our targets are, and they just start getting like kneed in the face at that point, which is very satisfying. Momo says like, woo, nice one, like gives a compliment. And Garun's even like, oh, you're helping us? And the Kerr is like, as if I'd ever help you. I'm just here to kill the aliens. And like goes to kick. And of course, Momo makes the joke. She's like, wow, this space alien's super tsundere. So fun stuff there. Driss comes to attack again. And Okarun kind of gives Momo this chance to escape while he stays behind to defend himself on the writing on the street. And there's a bunch of attacks going on that, Okarun is holding back against. He calls out to Momo. He's like, hey, go escape and get Gigi. Like, Gigi will be able to protect you at this point. I am going to hold this guy off as long as I can. And there's a bunch of strikes coming from Driss. And Okarun starts remembering all of the teaching he's gone under in the temple about, like, wiping the floors down and staying low as he ducks an attack. And then he remembers cleaning the windows as he swings up afterwards and remembers to wipe from top.
Show me, clean the floor!
To bottom! And he strikes down and cuts off some of Driss's mask, but more importantly, his arm. However, Driss does not appear to be a physical creature. Underneath the mummy bandages, there's just kind of a black mist, and the bandages themselves start to pull together at this point. And as it is reforming with this extra extended reach, it stabs Okarun in the chest.
It almost looks like it goes right into his heart.
Definitely looks like a decisive-esque kind of blow. So we will have to see what happens there.
It's certainly not good. Neat chapter. I'm glad to see that the whistle was not to just call the police. This is a neat twist to have this character that we've, been shown as being like the sympathetic member of the group, the one that's, at least likable, that has been coming after them, now being forced to work together with them. And it feels like we are being just like teased with like, no, you don't know anything about this. At this point.
Every so often I get a new character development for Saint Germain that's like, I have no idea what this character, like, I know they're manipulating something, but I don't know to what end anymore. And truly, Nick, all I want for Christmas is a fucking name for this character in the suit. I'm begging you, please give her a name.
It's also fun to see, like Okarun like dodging around and stuff while he's still having to stay on the street riding the whole time. Feels like this is going to be a fun scene to see get animated. Yeah. See him actually have to like maintain his footing in those positions the whole time. All right. Hero Girl and Demon Lord call it quits. Chapter 2. Hero Girl and Demon Lord get serious. So. Hero Girl, Asuka Kagurazaka, she's, she's really tired from going to school, and she says, like, I got really worked up when I saw something, and I transformed to my hero form, and then, I got, like, made fun of and stuff. So the Demon Lord offered to stow her sword away so that she won't, like, accidentally transform any further. And, she doesn't actually have to transform, right? Because, she's not fighting the Demon Lord anymore. We get a little bit of backstory that this is like a position that she inherited from her family, like her father or grandfather were the prior two heroes to her, and they also wielded the same sword. So the Demon Lord just kind of puts the sword into a pocket dimension. But then as they go out, they're going to do some shopping, go to the market and stuff, and they come across a building that is on fire, and there's a kid and a small aminal inside, and there's danger. And so Asuka turns to the Demon Lord and is like, I need to get my sword back so that I can transform and go save them. And like, yeah, it gets tired when you do that, so I can't actually give it back to you so quickly. So she goes in instead. She knows how to use some basic magic to reinforce herself. And the Demon Lord gives her a leak, because that's funny, because it's not a thing that, you expect her to use as a magical tool, because it's a leak. So she goes to save the day, and the Demon Lord's like, I should make it. And so he starts to do that. Asuka gets inside, grabs the kid, goes out the window. We see the size difference between her and the child, and we previously saw the size difference between the child and the dog that he was holding, and that dog is the size of a rat, I'm telling you. And that kid is the size of a baby, because she's not a big person, and he is not bigger than her whole torso. Like, I was just like...
This is a very malnourished child. It is extremely malnourished gerbil that he treats like a dog.
So she bursts through the window, calls for the Demon Lord, and he summons his cape, his cloak, his demon cape thing in order to catch her and stuff. Hooray! The guy is saved, and then afterwards, she's like, all right, I do need to have my sword back, because there are going to be times that I'm going to need it. And so he says, oh, I'll turn it into a keychain then, so you can actually carry it around properly. And he shows her a couple of options, and she goes for the... There's a dragon that's draped around the sword, and he says, you have the taste of an elementary school boy. And that's, I feel like, the only joke that I have at least understood on some fundamental level in these two chapters.
Now, Nick, if you were given this keychain with your magic sword, which one would you pick of the three?
The dragon sword!
Yeah, I would probably pick the fluffy one, just because the other one, it's going to clash too much, but there is something very camp about a fluffy sword. Like, what would you even cut with it?
Yeah.
It would be comfortable.
I do like that it has a little bow. Like it's like the sword is going to a little party. So yeah, she attaches her keychain sword to her bag and stuff. And God, what was the whole point of their little thing? He says, like, no one will know that you helped them, by the way. And she says, well, anyone would have jumped in in order to help if they could. And then she shows off, like, oh, look at my bag with this chains on it. And he says, very cool, hero. And then they're like, you want to get scallions? And then he says, also, I added Bluetooth to your sword. Yes. And her reaction is Bluetooth. And it's like, oh, it's because, like, why would there be Bluetooth on a sword? And it's like, you can't just say things, okay? Like... There's only so far that a non sequitur would, and I feel like the series is nothing but non sequitur jokes when it comes to its humor.
Yeah, I feel bad because members of our audience have really expressed that they're like, yeah, I kind of like the series. I'm shocked Nick and Quinn don't like it. I really don't have strongly negative feelings towards it. It's just not very funny, and the premise isn't. I don't know, I feel bad because I'm like, I can't think of 1,000 examples, but I just feel like the zeitgeist exists in such a space that I could just feel that this is kind of a tired premise, even if I haven't watched all those isekais that feel like they hit in this same kind of space or something like that.
Yeah, second.
Nick is looking something up.
Let's see, hang on. Light novel, Me and the Demu. Let's see.
Oh,
okay.
Nick's investigating. He's
all right, here we go. List from 7 years ago of light novels with a Demon Lord main character. Overlord, The Devil is a Part-Timer, The Only Work of Perishing the Hero, Mao Yusha, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Der Werewolf, The Annals of White, An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride, Demon King Daimao, If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord, Isekai Mao to Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu, Jinro e no tensei mao no fukukan. Mao no ore ga dore elf wo yome ni shitara da do merabai. From 7 years ago!
All right. Well then,
Okay,
let's
Hima-Ten.
talk about Hima-Ten. No, wait, hold on. I don't want to talk about this chapter of Hima-Ten. I remember how it ends.
Chapter number 67, Opportunity Maker Kana.
More like
Hey, it's
Hima 67.
yeah, it is the 67th. Yes, it's December 26th. We gotta get our Himeno tax out of the way early. She shows up outside of Yamori's place after he's taking the trash out, and she lets him know, like, hey, it's the last day of end of term remedial classes today, which means, of course, that Kana is at school. So she gives him that little tip so that he can go and give her her gift. And I will give the series a bit of credit because we see Kana with one of her friends instead of treating them like they are a unit attached at the hip that just follow her around in scenes where she needs to have a friend to talk to. Um, Kana is really bushed after, all of her work and stuff, and she's still bummed that she, didn't get to do stuff for Christmas. Imori shows up and Kana is so out of it that she's like, I'm hallucinating, right? He's not really here. And it turns out that he is there. And then she's like, why didn't you tell me you were in a remedial too? And it's like, wow, this girl is really tired. But Imori's like, oh, I'm here to give you your present. And then Kana realizes, like, hang on, I don't want to be in front of you while my hair is all messed up. Which makes me feel really bad, actually, for her, because it's like, Kana, he likes you as a person. It's not just because you're.
Well, she is allowed to want to look good in front of this guy who she likes. Like, she is allowed to just be like, oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to run into my crush here. Do you mind if I'm just going to sneak off to the bathroom to make myself look a little bit cuter?
I understand that, but I feel like on top of everything else we've seen of Kana, it feels in some ways that she feels as though a lot of her value is just in her looks.
Yeah, she does.
And
yeah.
that makes me a little sad, and I don't think that we're meant to treat it that way. I think this is just a little cute like moment of like, oh, I want to look in front, and that's totally fine. It's just that we haven't gotten a whole lot of Kana outside of that recently because she has not gotten a lot of focus recently.
No, don't you remember that scene where she took her top off, Nick?
Yeah. So, she's like, "Oh, can you help me with my assignments that I'm working on for all this remedial stuff?" And so they go into a class together. They go into a study room, and she even like is doing her assignments in Himari's seat. Which, given some of the stuff that she remarks on internally later, feels like a little thing going on. They tease each other a little bit because she's like, I'm never gonna get a chance like to actually your class basically, unless you like repeat a grade or something. And then she's like, oh, if we were in class again, I would have focused because your bikini model will be next to you and stuff. And it's like, I do like it when she's got that level of confidence, but eh. And then she actually gets embarrassed because he gets embarrassed, which is cute.
Mm.
What
did you expect from him, girl, when you say that? Like,
yeah.
What is the response when you're like, ooh, I bet you'd be really nervous if you sat next to your favorite bikini model? I'm like, is that what I'm really supposed to be? I don't know. Like, how platonic of a friend am I supposed to be now at this point?
Iamori says that after she finishes her assignments, then she'll get her Christmas present. And she's like, I've got so much to do, though. But Iamori's like, I just want you to take this seriously and not blow it off and stuff. And Miss Himeno says that you've been spacing out in class recently. So, but she says, I'll be here until you finish, so just do your best while you've got the time. And hey, she takes it as motivation to actually work hard and stuff. And while they're sitting together, Iamori is planning out meals for winter break. Like, I don't want to waste anything. He's checking on all the groceries and stuff like that. And he's checking for recipes that he can do. He takes his work serious. Kana, while she is working, reflects on how her relationship with Iamori differs from Himari's, which is like, hey, Himari is busier than I am. but she still manages to make time for studying. But Iamori takes care of her chores. He sits next to her in class. So it's no wonder that she has that extra energy. And I wish that I had as many opportunities to spend time with her as she does. And it's like, yeah, that's a very real insecurity to have in this situation, which is really awkward because like Imari is a really good friend of her.
Yeah.
She's like her senpai that she really respects. But she finishes all her work, and it looks like she was very thorough with. And she says, "I'm sorry that I made you wait that long, when you just wanted to deliver my present." And he's very nice about it. He says, "Hey, I got to do all my and stuff like that." And he congratulates her for sticking to it and working hard. And he gives her present, which is a gift card for the cinema. And he says, I thought that this might help you because, like, I know you're getting into acting and, you'll have like something you can study and stuff. And now that you finished your assignments, you can take a breather. You can go and do that. But Kana says, I mean, shouldn't you like ask me out on a date with this? And Iamori is seemingly purely baffled because he's like, wait, you wanted to go with me? And she says, like, yeah. And he's like, well, I got you like enough on there that you could get like 3 tickets. You could go with like your two friends. Um, and he says, like, I guess if you wanted to go with me, like, we could go with Goto, which is his younger sister. And Kana, good for her, says, I think the best breather for me would be if just the two of us went together. And she's like, I could, use the other ticket later. And she says, I've never asked you to hang out before. So don't be all reserved and say no. And she says, and there's a reason you can't refuse. And she reaches into her bag and reveals it's an advanced edition of her first cover on a magazine. And it's a very Kana picture. We'll just leave it at that. um, and Iamori has the best reaction he possibly could have, which is he's just so happy for her. Like he he
He's
doesn't
like,
like go. Oh!
in his mind, it might is like this is like a blank cover. It's just like his friend's face and then like static essentially. So like it is a big deal, and he's very kind to just be like congratulations on your hard work. But it is like, does it have to be this particular kind of pose? Like it's not. There really isn't even anything like mildly artistic to it.
I feel like it's very artistic the amount of tape that was applied and stuff. Um, I think that in a way this is actually very sweet because they bring up the fact that hey, he's going to make the meal that he promised that he would after her like big cover debut and stuff, and they're gonna like celebrate after they go and see the movie, and so oh, that's nice. They're getting closer and everything. I do feel like I really do miss certain chapters we had with Kana, like especially around the time when like she was getting to know Iamori's siblings a lot.
Mhm.
There was kind of that unique level of their relationship. I feel like we've gotten very little focus on her, and when we have had it in a very singular focus, and I would like to see us getting back to seeing them together a bit more, just so that we can see more of her personality that we did like more at one time.
Yeah, I hope we get to see a little bit more of that at some point as well. It'd be nice to, I don't know, get to see a little bit more of her that isn't just like, also, I am being acknowledged and appreciated for my, bust size at this point or whatever. It'd be fun to get to see her like interact with Iamori's little sister again and stuff like that. Just, I don't know,
Yeah.
more fun things.
There's a very fine line, which is like, I don't think that it is a problem to have a character who is like very proud of their body and stuff like that. Even in terms of like, like, hey, they're in high school and stuff, but it's like, yeah, but the guy that she is doing this with is appropriate for her and stuff. I don't think that that is, a bad message to send on one level, but there is definitely a line you got to ride because it's like, this is definitely like the way that it is done being used for titillation. And it's like,
It,
again, don't have a problem with a character doing that. Just give me more than just that
It
as
it
well.
it does feel as though it is a guy's perspective of what a woman, in that profession would be like, where it's like, yeah, I love being acknowledged for how big my boobs are. Having big boobs is one of the greatest things, and then like getting jealous if someone else has a bigger boob size than her. Like it's like I don't know, it's just this weird thing that you're like, I wish you understood a little bit more of the nuance of it, but I don't know. I can at least appreciate when we get to see other aspects of Kana's personality.
Okay, the Mage Door, Chapter 3, Yoboko. Yeah, Osoegawa's got an office. They can work out of it, do favors for people, and use that in order to run into mages eventually. But before long, Osoegawa is just like slacking on the couch, which is kind of his default state. But then a girl appears, a mage named Kazura Yoboko, who's there under orders from the Divine Magus to help Osoegawa with his mission. She like explodes in, arriving from the magical world, so it's some magic just like cleaning up, and says like, "Oh, I guess they're gonna like be joining our office and stuff." And just like, "What are you talking about office?" Gets the explanation of everything, and she's like, "Okay, so all right, you're going to gather information from the people you help. But that feels like it's a tremendous waste of time. We should be running around in order to find these pages that you're supposed to be tracking down." And Osoegawa says, "So instead he wins the race." Anyway, goes back to lying down on the couch. They get a call, so yeah, they're gotta go and help someone on a request. And Yabako was immediately like, "Oh, well, we're going to stop an enemy mage and stuff." And it's like, no, they just like help someone like take out the trash, someone fix the roof, find a cat, and so like I was using all of his weird little bits of magic in order to help out and all these little bits. And then he's like, "Oh, we got some thank you food. Isn't that nice, Yobiko? Here's your share." And she's like, "Oh, thank you. No, I'm not happy. Well, fuck you. We're supposed to be hunting mages. This is a really yummy snack," which I do like that bit coming back around. And just like, "This is a really tasty snack, but I'm really upset about this." But they end up getting another request, and it turns out, oh my gosh, there's someone else stealing money. I have to say, I feel like we're going to need to come across mages that aren't just stealing money eventually with the trouble they cause. Because this guy has some little humanoids that are stealing stuff for him. His name is Katao, and so Igawa shows up on the scene with Yobiko, and he uses his dolls to form like a giant golem that has a cap, I guess because he also wears a cap. I think that's where he wears a cap. So it starts chasing Osoegawa and Yobiko around, and so Yobiko's like, "Oh, I got to use magic and summoning magic to summon a beast," but it's just a tiny little like dragonfly thing. It's not very helpful at all. And so Osoegawa, he's very confident in his new friend. Says like, and so they keep on running around. They take shelter in the warehouse that they're in, and Osagawa's like, "Hey, it's not that big a deal." And she's like, "Yes, it is. I'm a mage, but I suck at magic." And we get a flashback to her interacting with her clan. She has apparently very high expectations of her because she comes from a clan of elite summoning magic users. And she's like, I know, like, I suck, but I'm banking everything I have on this mission, and I'm going to succeed. I'm going to show everyone who I am. And so Osoegawa says, like, "Hey," and he blasts her with one of his forms. He explains to kind of work hard. Oh, are we back?
Yep, we are back.
Osoegawa's lesson to Yobiko is, you only need to kind of work hard. The mission's been entrusted to both of us, so you should share the load with me. So when Yobiko comes out, she's like, "I feel like I'm more relaxed than normal." When she summons again, this time she summons a massive spectral wolf thing that immediately wins the battle for her. Uh, and Yobiko is so excited and happy that she has done this. And yeah. And then they go back to the office, and Isoga was like, I'm going to slack off more. So now we've got more of a dynamic here than just like, oh, he's got a little, like, pocket partner thing that just tells him what to do. There is an actual second person for Isoga to interact with.
Yep. It seems cool-ish, but I'm just not digging this series. Like it's trying, like it's now got, I think, more of like a full cast, which it kind of needed before. I think it needed a character like this mage girl to help balance out the lead. And I like her summoning character gimmick. I always like summoner characters in general. But it's just, I don't know. There's just very little energy in this series, and it just kind of it feels very emphasized in that way. In that I notice how dry this series is at times as I read it.
Feels kind of like a super psychic policeman shoujo at this point, but it's not as polished yet. I think that out of the three new series that we've gotten in this rotation, this feels like the one that I like the best, but I still don't like it much. So I'm fine with us passing on.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Mage Next Door, 3 chapters in. Neither of us are a big fan. I do not believe this will be staying in the recap. So goodbye, Mage Next Door. Hopefully you don't become Shinobi Underground. All right, next, Otter of the Flame.
Chapter 27, Filgia's Memories. Filgia is in the internal world for trance thing, and yeah. Oh, you talk about my past, huh? And then she like makes the reference to like it kind of gonna be like talking about my ex-boyfriend, and Otra's like, I mean, I don't. That's fine, okay.
Otter's like, we're not dating, so
We're not dating. He's like, but I have boobs now. We're not dating. So they sit down together by like a little campfire in the internal world, and she says that Surtur, the Black Branch, who was her previous partner, he uses power for others, fueled by duty, responsibility, but when he was cornered in the battle with the evil king, he fused our souls. But the toll it took on him rendered him unable to. So we defeated Doa Doa, you and I, and once I came back to my senses, I realized because verge of making that same mistake again. Oter, in response to this, says, may I tell you about myself? Then we cut back to the battle in progress, where Lara has used the water spirit, Ran, to turn Erdur's tree spirit against her. So everyone else, no one can really stand a chance. Colero forms a massive water axe and starts taking out beasties and stuff. There's a cool moment where they like form like twin axes that are connected together by streams of water, and they just butcher the hell out of some elves and bears with them. Kutane tries to launch an arrow to help out, but he's so terrified by being on the battlefield that his aim is off. Then Erder tries to forcefully turn everything back on the tree to her side, and basically forms it into a golem until Colero just uses the water spirit and paralyzes her again. And then it's like, all right, I'm just gonna chop your limbs off. That should take care of things. But Erder thinks to herself, well, why doesn't he just kill me? What is he trying to do? But before Colero can make good on that promise to chop her limbs off, Kutane comes charging in, tries to fire an arrow at point blank range, and says, if I can't aim right, then I'll just fire from a distance where I can't possibly miss. Fear can't affect me if I get this close. Actually, I'm still very scared. What a hero.
I
Okay.
wish Kutane was more of a himbo.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like if he was like, if his personality was dialed up a little bit more, this character would be really fun, and this would be a really fun moment where he's like, I figured out how I can beat you. I'll just fire an arrow from really close. That way I can't possibly miss. And he's like, oh, wait, no, this is actually a really scary position to be in. Like, I wish I was further away. Could be really fun.
Imagine Taki from iShield 21 doing this, and that's what you're asking for. Yes.
Which, hey, that's what he was there for. My boyfriend's been going through iShield 21, slowly but
Oh,
surely. Yeah, he decided to read it to see what you and I enjoyed so much. And he's the one character who's really like, hey, I'm not really getting this guy yet as talking. I'm like, he
just wait.
has. I was like, he has a match, but you know what? If you're not high on him, you don't have to worry. This is not the character you need to invest the most in this team to get the
Yeah.
like the full picture.
Guys, he's just the tight end. It's okay.
This is at a time where tight ends weren't that good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, Clara was injured by that attack, gets really pissed off and just like, who the hell are you? And Kutane is like, oh, well, fake it till you make it. And debate declaration of like, I'm the young master of the Njorda merchant fleet, a descendant with 5 heroes, warrior of wind, Kutane Njorda. And he thinks to himself that he's certain that Otter will come back to him, and he just needs to protect Erder until then. Meanwhile, at Otter's body, the branch that was, impaled into him so that they could start this whole spirit ritual thing, it's starting to burn. Yeah, Etopirko and was it Hugin? I forget his name. The freaking black-haired guy, mage dude. Anyway,
Something like that,
so
yeah.
they're like, yeah. So they're like, all right, well, we just have to wait. So then back inside of the internal, Felga says, you want to tell me about yourself? And Otter explains, well, you told me about yourself. And so I just thought it's only right for me to open up too, about something I haven't really ever talked about. My life before I met you. I feel like he has talked about his life before, though. I mean, not like every detail, but we've seen like some fair snatches of it, like the stories, and we saw in the first chapter what his life was like, stuff. So I don't know. It feels like a really weird thing to start off in the previous chapter, going like, "Oh, this flame spirit's past," and now we're gonna learn about the guy who kid in his past. Feels like a little bit of a weird to very suddenly jump to after not spending time learning any new details about Philgit that we didn't know before this chapter. Very odd to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, but I don't know. I still kind of like it better than a lot of the chapters we've gotten recently, just because it seems like it gets the idea of what an exciting chapter would be like and like how to do these things. But yeah, unfortunately, it just hasn't really hit perfectly well. So I guess we shall see. But not super excited for the Odor flashback. But I don't know. Maybe something crazy will happen. Maybe there'll be an old man in it that I can really get behind, and like his,
Maybe.
his mortality seems to be coming to an end, but he values some kind of treat, like I don't know, a legume,
salty treat with a shell,
a legume
yeah.
of some kind. Yes, that he could really appreciate. In like, 20-ounce quantities you could purchase from a store or something like that.
Yeah, his power comes from his enemies mistaking them for nuts when they're actually legumes.
That those fools.
Yeah. Let's move on over to Someone Hurts. Chapter number 10. I don't remember.
Nick, I'm starting to feel bad that we made a deal that we were like, all right, anytime they give us a new prompt, you and I, we're gonna make a deal. We're both write an answer for next 2 chapters. No fucking prompts. They had a prompt per chapter for like 8 straight chapters, and then they stopped stone cold as soon as we started to get invested.
I don't know. Maybe someone overheard a bunch of idiots from across the ocean goes like, "These jokes suck."
And no, they're just waiting. They're gonna throw some crazy premise at us next time, where they're like, what would a bagel say to a microwave that it didn't like? And I'm like, I don't even know.
God.
Did AI write this prompt? Like, what is this?
Hey, look at this cute cover page of Mizuo, like just hanging out in her house after a bath and eating a popsicle, blatantly ignoring a note on the fridge that says no stacking before dinner. At school, I turned into a New Zealander. At school, Mimei is still thinking awkwardly about how the Longhopes saw he and Mizuho running through the rain together. Because when you're a teenager, it feels like that's the only thing that is important, is an embarrassing thing that happened to you that nobody else cares about. Uh, I I would like to say you grow out of it eventually. A lot of people don't. So he runs into Mizuho, and she is bizarrely, just kind of like down. She's just kind of like, blushing awkwardly, and it's kind of quiet, and she's like, fine with, huh? Yeah. And so Mimei starts to think, as she seems distracted and stuff like that. Oh, maybe she's also thinking about us being mistaken for a couple and stuff. He's wondering if that's really affecting her mood. Um, Mizuho's friends say to Mimei like, "Oh, isn't she acting like kind of mellow and cute today? What's going on? What's?" So Mimei is like, I need to tell her, not to worry about like us getting mistaken for a couple and stuff." So he, wanders around, ends up seeing Mizuho like moving a box in the storage rooms. When he goes to help her with it, their hands touch, and Mimei's like, "Oh, sorry." Sees that Mizuho has a fever, and so her blush is that she has a fever. It's not that she is like all awkward about the radio incident. It's that no, they were going around in the rain and stuff. And also afterwards, I went to the convenience store and bought some ice cream, which is the perfect thing when you've been going through the rain. So he forcefully gives her an antibacterial mask. Takes her to the nurse's office. Her temperature is 39 degrees Celsius, which is not good. And so she, is made to get some bed rest. And even her one-liners don't really make sense because she's like, "My moose is cooked."
No, don't worry, Nick. It'd have been way funnier if she wasn't sick. She would have had
I
really good
hope
jokes.
so.
Yeah.
Yep. So afterwards, she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't notice I had a fever. I hope I didn't get cold anyway." And then she's like, "How did you know that I had a cold?" And Mimei says, "Well, it's because you were not acting like your usual self." And Mizuho chuckles a little bit. And that's just kind of, she doesn't really say anything though about why. So Mimei's like, "Okay, I'll like you here and stuff." Mizuho says that she can make it home on her own. And then as she starts to move, she just starts to walk into the window instead of the door. So she's just completely balancing out action. I do like the visual of her tottering back and forth in that one panel. So the nurse is eventually like, "Okay, I'm going to leave it to you. Maybe you're going to handle this." So after classes, Mimei is escorting Mizuho back. And Mizuho is kind of like, "I'm on next week." And Mimei's like, "Yeah, if you're better by then, yes, we can listen, but you don't stay up to listen to it though. Like, take it easy on yourself. Get some proper rest." And he encourages her, like, "You can listen to the archive episode later. This out." But Mizuho says, "Yeah, but I was thinking how much fun it'd be to listen to it with someone else." And Mimei is like, "Yeah, I
Oh.
guess it is more fun." And then Mizuho like almost goes into the bushes because she's so so more silly visuals of her doing that. Um, they she ends up getting a little drink, fortunately, and Mimei says, "Look, when you get over your cold, we'll listen to the episode together. I won't listen to it until then." And
That means a lot. Yeah.
that's very cute. And although Mizuho has been acting just very weird recently, this whole chapter, she does actually seem like that. That means a lot to her.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually does like, take off some time from class because we see her getting called absent for a bit. Monday night comes and Mimei's like, "All right, I promised." And he doesn't tune in on the radio. He just goes to bed and he thinks, "I hope the Mizuho gets better soon." And shortly enough, she comes back and she's like, "I beat the cold in a penalty shootout." And Mime is just like, I'm glad that you're back to your old self. Uh, and then he brings up like, I kind of thought actually like that, you know, the Mon Mid guys like bringing up the drenched high schoolers. That I thought that was weighing on you. And he was like, when did they talk about that? So anyway, yeah. Look, he's an awkward teenage guy. That's yeah.
He tried the same thing that Hina did, and it still didn't work out. So
Yeah. Um, and they're like, I didn't listen in real time, so I sent missions and stuff. Then like a teacher brings up like, you've got a quiz to make up, and like, so, which yeah,
very funny.
yeah, I like this chapter. It's cute.
It is cute. I'm annoyed that we make a deal to get invested in this series and participate in their prompts, and this is 2 straight chapters without any prompts. But it is also a lot of very cute romance stuff, and this series has been ranking surprisingly high in all of its initial rankings. So I mean, I don't know if like we're gonna see it drop precipitously at some point, but like it's having a really good early showing. Apparently there was a big audience for romance manga about 3 a.m. stand-up comedy shows. Like, who would have thought it?
Yeah, I think that it just has a certain vibe that is unique within the lineup of Shonen Jump right now. So good for it.
Yeah, and maybe just this like form of comedy is much more popular there. I mean, we already know Shoten Showa or whatever is running, so you know maybe there's just a big audience for this kind of thing that already like kind of has a manga crossover.
That series wrapped up like a month or two ago.
Oh, is it done?
It's done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to read it then. I was in the middle of the final tournament, and figured I would just wait until the tournament ended.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, chapter 69. Eva the very adorable color page at the beginning, when it kind of super cute style.
Mm-hmm.
Kiyoshi has been discovered because people saw through his ultimate disguise of wearing sunglasses and not to cover his distinctive features. I really like his reaction on this first page where busted. We cut over to Lulu's castle territory. Elsa Gaga has been teleported into his sister's castle. She comes down and is like, "Oh, asking me for dinner next time. We're family." And we are introduced to Helza Lulu, the female sibling of Helza Bub. It's not Helza Bub, is it? It is Helza Bub. Yeah. The Helza trio. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a sadist." So she steps on him. Oh. Yep. So she's like, "Oh, and Kiyoshi was there, I guess." And so then so they're fighting and stuff, and Helza Gaga, I think was
Gaga.
Helza Gaga was good. And then the oldest Helza sibling is like, "Who is killing who?" Stuff, and even like they are like seemingly really freaked out by their older sibling, the one who has surpassed their father. So continuing to build him up, and he also looks like a owl, or that is just an owl speaking with his voice or something.
I think this is some kind of demonic messenger bird.
Or a crow, I guess, because it's got like 3 eyes. So, and one look and 1 foot, like a. So. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, everyone saw through Kiyoshi's disguise. God, I keep forgetting everyone's names in this series. She's just like, "Oh well, yeah, you're not scared, are you?" And Kiyoshi's like, "It's exactly what I want." And internally, I'm so freaking out. Because he can't use preset power, which only Sosuke knows at the time.
Shishido? Is that what you meant?
Yes. So.
What do you mean, Nick? It's a
Uh,
very common, easy naming convention for all the characters in this series. They're either named after like movies or American pop culture or Japanese names.
yeah. Sosuke starts being like, "Why am I getting Mike Wazowski the new part? I'm there too. Come on." Uh, but he is reassured, like, "It's okay. You're like our secret weapon." And so Sosuke is like, "Oh, it's fine, I guess. Sure." They start to
I love
have
that he's like easily convinced by it. He's like, well, when you put it that way, I guess it's pretty cool that I have the secret weapon.
yeah. They start to have a plan over like, okay, so Helzabub should go to Helzabobo's castle to take him on. We'll head over to Lulu's castle where also Gaga is. And so they're like, all right, are you good with that? And Shishido and Bub have a little dorky handshake thing, which is very cute. And Kiyoshi's like, that looked really fun. Kiyoshi is given a new disguise, which is like a furry cloak, and he then like pulls the hood down, which feels like it immediately like would defeat the purpose. Uh,
It's one of those things. Did you ever play the original Fire Emblem that came out in America? The one that has like Lyn and Hector in it.
I only played like maybe one level of that. So
Okay.
no.
There is a scene in it where they're like, we need disguises to get into the town, and when you hit the button to hit next, it's all the same character models, but they all just have a cloak with a hood that's down, and they're like, perfect, we're ready to go into town. And that's the same energy here where it's like, Kyoshi, no, you need at least to put the hood up.
Yeah. So Helzabub says, "Hey, what were Astaroth's final moments like?" And Kiyoshi says, "I know this is gonna sound weird, but he seemed really happy." And Bub says, "Well, Roth was not like a noble demon lord. He only cared about power, but he was like a very prominent leader. He had a lot of charisma. We would often put our lives on the line in battles against each other when we were younger. But after how he saw I was getting soft after I met my wife, he was really upset with me. Roth always said he was probably going to die alone, and so I was... But earlier, when I traded blows with you, well, now I know. I'm glad you were his final opponent, Kiyoshi. Thank you for going all out against him." And Kiyoshi's like, "I mean, I was just doing my job, but thank you."
Yeah.
Then Bub's like, "By the way, if you keep wearing that cloak, you'll be cursed." Throws it in there. Sosuke is having a conversation with... This is why I keep on getting these two confused, because they have very similar names.
Yeah.
God. So he's talking with the second in command of their squad, and after having like a sparring match with him, asks Sosuke, "Why did you stay behind? Was it your rivalry with Kiyoshi, or was it something else?" Sosuke says, "Having become an exorcist, I've met all sorts of demons, and what Harai did after we arrived in the demon realm seemed right to me. Is that not reason enough?"
Oh, he's
It's
like
like,
a good little boy.
Shuten. That's it, right?
Yes,
That's
I
what,
do believe so.
So Shuten's like, "Oh, that's good." All right. So then they go to rest because they're like, "We got a tough battle to do tomorrow." And Sosuke says, "Yeah, and your trump card will help you win." Everyone has a good meal. Everyone goes to bed. Morning comes, and Cook actually crows like a rooster to get them all awake. And then they all head out, and then they immediately get lost. But so Shishido is like, "All right, gathers some stuff up," and he eats a bunch of spare parts and then spits them out into a car for them to try.
It makes no sense because he just like opens his mouth and a car presumably can't come out. Yeah, and you're like, how does this work? What happened to your jaw?
They drive to Helzalulu's castle. They jump a cliff, charge through the wall. Hey, they're there, and they burst in to face off against Lulu, and who is just be like, "I was in the middle of doing my weight makeup. Hey, fight time."
Yeah, good stuff. Fun chapter, and I liked a lot of the little character moments. I liked how Sosuke came out to be. This is one of those series where I'm like, ooh, I think I'm invested in a character that the author is also invested in paying off on. Like this bodes well for Quinn. This will not be a Colossus situation.
Right. Okay, it's hard to tell what character New Sexorcist is invested in any because we just keep on moving on to another one every single. But here we are in chapter 123, Soranaki. That's right, Soranaki was drawn to the school festival after all the shenanigans. Last chapter, Nue spotted him and confronts him and is like, "I'm gonna wreck you. We're gonna fight and stuff." And the tug of war ends in a tie because in the tension the rope breaks. Okay, so yep, it's lunchtime. So Gakuro's crew all gathers together in order to eat. And Nick gets confused because all the black-haired characters talk to each other for a bit, and I have to spend several minutes sussing out who is
The one
because Nue keeps changing her hair, Quinn.
she's not making
It's
it
hard
easy.
to tell which one is Nue.
It's hard to do that. The only thing that helps is the new girl has like big crosses in her eyes. So like
Yes.
she just looks distinctly different when her eyes are open. But like they all kind of look very similar, and like especially when they get chibi-fied like this, they lose a lot more of those defining, aspects of their appearance. So yeah, there are like three dark-haired characters that are all like, "Hey, let's have a conversation." You're like, oh no.
No, no. What happens basically? Nue is like, I got alcohol and I'm very irresponsible as a mentor and alcohol. Yay. Gakura brings up like, oh, that tug of war match really something. The room caught fire at the end, and you and that guy were the only ones still pulling. Show don't tell is a piece of advice given to writers. Uh, so yeah, that was Soranaki, which we already knew, but Gakuro is just learning this now. And Nue reiterates like the objective of the sports festival is to lure him to identify his power. What did you forget about that amid all the bullshit that was happening in the past two chapters that had nothing to do with the main plot? Let's reiterate it now. She also says that the point of the festival was to identify Soranaki's power because his body is a mass of highly concentrated energy like sentient heat or wind. 1,000 years ago, Soranaki's fire, he was the incarnation of the sun! And several millennia ago, great sun that tore up the land. It changes. In every age, the energy Soranaki is made of is different, and it tends to be the energy that symbolizes that era. Until we know what sort of energy Soranaki is made of, we can't even begin to formulate a strategy. He's a legendary Pokemon, Quinn, but you don't get to know what type he is, so no type advantaging him.
Ooh, yeah. Also, I'm very curious to see what they are considering the energy of today because this series is dumb and it could be fucking anything. Like I'm like in my mind, I'm like, okay, we could be like, nuclear power. Like nuclear power gets used very commonly. Maybe you're just referring to like electricity in general. Seems to be like the, energy that gets used nowadays, stuff like that. But it could be something else. It could just be like Twitter excitement is what really like drives this guy forward. Like all of your posts on your favorite social media about how great this series are. Those are what do it.
We've got to fight against that third judge from Air Gear that was just 4chan posts.
I hate that. Every time I think about that, I get angry again.
It's all about being independent, which is why he cares so much about what these strangers on the internet think.
So all these anonymous people who may not even know how to use air gears are going to be the one that tell you whether or not you should feel validated in your profession.
Soranaki shows up, but then he actually rips off his disguise and reveals his true form, which is Dracula from Castlevania. So he says eating together is proper etiquette after you fight somebody. All right. They've got cake, and he's sharing cake them like cupcakes, basically. And so they sit down together. And then he's like, yes, and we'll have it with this whiskey. And it's like a whiskey, which I do appreciate that. Then he turns to, oh no, because it almost looks like it is Shitatsu, but it's not Shitatsu. It's the other short black-haired girl. The one I mentioned her earlier, Quinn. It's the third girl in Sujita's trio, and I don't know her name. I know who it is, but I don't know her name. So Soranaki goes over to her and is like, oh, I bet you're okay. Oh, by the way, your cheer battle was terrific. And she's like, uh-huh. And so Nue kind of like, squirts her off. And she's like, yeah, she doesn't like that, so leave her alone. And Soranaki's like, sorry, Nue, don't get jealous on me. And I swear to God, Quinn, in the most lovingly rendered image of this chapter, he gropes her boob through her shirt.
Yeah.
There is so much detail in this shot. All the little wrinkles in the shirt, the way that you can tell that the shape has been distorted because he's gripping it. I am terrified by the amount of work that went into this one shot.
It's definitely something he enjoyed drawing, probably. Yeah, you know what? We got to make this guy a real bad guy because, it's funny when somebody runs into somebody's boob if it's an accident. But you're a monster if you do it intentionally. And this is true. It's weird in this series where characters are like...
Gakuro to say that.
It's just weird in this series because Gakuro will accidentally moan his way through essentially getting to second base with all of these girls. But the second someone does something untoward...
How dare you do that?
Yeah.
On purpose?
That's revolting! Granted, I've stolen the first kiss of 6 of the girls up here, but those were all on accident. And one of them on purpose, but for the sake of the world.
The last arc featured me getting healed by being allowed to use a girl's boobs as a pillow. But you, sir.
You're the worst scum on the earth!
There's another moment of how strong is Nue? Because she just cuts his hand off instantly. And it's like, why don't you just do everything yourself? So that has violated all of fatality, and so she's like, get the fuck out of here. And Soranaki's like, Ice Queen, and here we sealed the Hyo together. And Shitatsu specifically goes, huh. So, I don't know why only she got a reaction to that bit of news. Anyway, there's an announcement made over the PA system that there's going to be an exhibition match between Team North High and Team Soranaki, which is a thing that exists now.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, so, that happens, and Nue's like, did you set this up? And Soranaki's like, don't put it like that. I wanted to thank you for making this festival so exciting. Okay, but who's talking right now over the PA system? Is it someone who is part of the organizational team? Why did they trust some random adult in a freaking ski hat to just set this up? Anyway, Raisei shows up just then.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nue's like, shouldn't you be unsealing the Hyo? And Raisei's like, yeah, I should. But Soranaki's like, yeah, well, I'm constantly helping Raisei, so he helps me when I ask for it too. Also, some captains are there, and Raisei's like, I've taken steps, and I dealt... so they're there too. So Nue turns to her group and is like, all right, we're going to take on Soranaki's group. And Gakuro is really serious because he's like, how dare he grope your on purpose? And Natsuki's like, yeah, we're gonna beat that guy, and everyone else is like, yeah. And in a random panel, a bunch of dudes go, woo, go get him, and we get a little helpful caption that says, Nue's fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now we know who they are.
So Gakuro is taking on Raisei in a scavenger hunt race, and so go. And so Raisei immediately vorps over to the table that has the clue that they're going to. Also, there is just like someone else that they're racing against, I think, because there's a couple other people also lined up with them.
Yeah.
Raisei's Raisei's thing is the greatest beauty of the event, so immediately, of course, turns to new. That makes sense. Gakuro gets one that says his target is Master, which means also Nue. And there is, I will say, a joke that made me go, that's kind of funny, which is that the other like teachers that they've like the other enemies that have turned their side are like, so it's gonna go for me. And they both say it at the same time, and then each other like, fuck you, pal. I actually like that joke.
It's kind of funny. It's like a wry chuckle / smile you get out of it. You're like, oh yeah, if you two were memorable characters, this would be a pretty funny joke. But as it is, you're just like, wait, which one? Hakutaku and Knife Guy? That can't be his name, but...
Gakuro immediately speeds over to Nue, whom Raisei has been, for some reason, approaching very slowly.
He's been walking
He teleported
there. Yeah.
over to the table to get his clue and realized, like, I have to go and get what my clue says is the greatest beauty of the event. I have a chance to be really suave, so I'll just walk real slow over to my target. So Gakuro gets to her first, and then outruns Raisei. Like, he manages to grab Gakuro's shirt, and Gakuro just goes and gets across the goal line.
Nick,
okay?
It's an incredibly satisfying moment because the entire time Nue just silently stays a cradling beauty in his arms. Like, she has no thoughts, she has no expressions as this is going on. She just sits there and stares up at Gakuro.
Yep. So Raisei leaves. Thanks for showing up, villain of the series.
Hey, Mean Joe! I mean Raisei! It's like the kid with the Coke in the jersey.
So Soranaki's like, I never thought you'd actually them, and Raisei's like, yeah, but like the crowd got amped up for it, right? Listen to the cheers and stuff. And Soranaki's like, I never have enough cheers. My heart is constantly drying out, and I never stop giving it water. That was fun, Raisei. Let's make it even hotter in here. You're up, comrade of mine. And oh my gosh, it's Gasha, don't you fucking know it? And
who is this
why
guy?
are people here?
Is this the guy, the level 4 that Gakuro previously fought and kind of like didn't lose against, but like they had to like run away from him, and it was like, hey, this will be somebody Gakuro will face later on?
Yeah, like what he did with Raisei just now, yeah.
Okay. Wait, this is the Warhyo? This is the first... No, then I have no idea who this is. I'm so confused. When is that guy ever going to show back up then? There was like a level 4 that Gakuro had a rivalry with.
Which one are you talking about?
There was the one in the training camp that he fought. He never killed that guy. Like, that was the one that like Gakuro almost died in, but like I think he got stronger or something like that. But like... apparently it also happened with this guy as well. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's Gasha Discord server. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gasha Discord server. Good.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him in action. Then I hope we get to find out some more about what the Shiroha estate is doing in all of this. They had so much lore built up about them, and then we just abruptly fucking left them in the past.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the school festival arc that was, again, supposed to be to get a date with Gakuro, because we've had, like, 4 arcs in a row that have been like, the winner of this is to be Gakuro's girlfriend. And no follow-through on any of them. Quinn, I love this stupid, goddamn awful series.
I don't know if love's the word I want to use. Begrudging respect, I guess. All right. We do have to wrap this up with Akane-banashi story 183, Card in Time. It's the biggest show chapter.
Yes, because Isho has just told Akane that as a reward for winning the Zuyun prize, he will grant her one request. And so Akane immediately is like, and so she's like, okay, don't overthink it. I won this opportunity, so I should use it. What do I ask him? It's got to be something to do that'll help me with Shigama's art. Do I ask him about his past with the previous Shigama? No, maybe the truth about the expulsion. And so she's like, hands together, and she's thinking about it. Then Isho just immediately is like, God, fucking don't loses patience with her and says, "I give you the card and to play and time to think. How you broach the subject is your decision. Don't decide it right now. Think it, basically." And he's got shit to do.
Yes.
But he checks his watch, his fucking pocket watch, I should say, old style. And he says, one last thing. In November, I am holding an event exclusively from my school, the Ishokai. It will be a 2-part performance day and night, and in the daytime schedule, I leave to you two. And he points not just to Akane, but to Kaisei, who has been there this whole time since the previous chapter. And so Isho says that he leaves them to make all the decisions, but he says, your work must be satisfactory. But Akane realizes that this means that she, as an apprentice of the Isho school, is being asked to do this. Meaning she is going to take the stage as an apprentice of Isho. And so she gets to her feet and it's like, you can't just say that and then just... And she says, I never asked her for an event with Kaisei Ani-san. And I admit you've given me professional guidance, but I'm only here temporarily. I'm not your apprentice. And she starts to say, like, I belong with Shigama's school, but Isho says, you are free to decline if you wish to burn the one request I have granted you.
It is a
As in,
very,
you can use the request to do this.
it is a very cool move to be like, you can do it. You use up that cool new favor you got from me, though.
Kaisei cuts in and says, thank you for this incredible offer. We will meet your expectations. This time. Ooh. That's weirdly ominous. What's going on with you, dude?
You seem like you might have some history with my guy.
Well, I mean, we know he has a history with him, but we have not seen a lot of that history since he became Rakugoka.
Yeah.
So Isho takes his leave, doesn't even say goodbye. His goodbye is, just walks out. There's some awkward quiet for a bit, and then Kaisei says to Akane, you seem really disgusted at the thought of being associated with our school. And she said, look, you can't just expect me to just go along with this. Kaisei says the Ishokai is held annually on November 20th. Does that not ring a bell? November 23rd is the anniversary of the death of the great master, the previous Shigama. Master's journey deeply informs the roots and style of the Ishokai. The event reflects the history of the school. So, is your interest piqued now as a fellow pursuer of Shigama's art? And so Akane's reaction is, you're all in. Kaisei explains to her that Isho's true intentions exist within a continuum of severity, so you won't reach his thoughts without taking the plunge yourself. He says, I'm not going to force you to do it, but on the other hand, I'm not going to wait forever. And we get a flashback to years before when Kaisei said that he would have liked to have performed on the same stage as her, but of course she lost that contest for the opportunity. And Akane had promised, I'll catch up in no time, and this time I will. So, in very Akane fashion, she gives a quick slap in the face. And Kaisei's like, something wrong? And she says, just waking myself up. And she stands up and says, doing this, I'm giving it my all. Yeah. There we are.
Good for her. Good motivation for Akane to, work hard and get motivated for this event, because now she finally is going to have an opportunity to perform with one of these rivals she's had all this time. And hey, Kaichi will also be there, Nick.
Yeah, well, I mean, presumably, like if it's all apprentices, and he was in the
He's in there.
The splash page, yeah. Actually very prominently. He's like,
well, he has one of the more distinct silhouettes in the series as well, because he has a different kind of body shape than everyone else.
Yeah, and the glasses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it then for our manga this week. Quinn, what was your favorite chapter?
Ooh, favorite chapter is a good one. I think I am going to go with Ichi the Witch, which I think had a really fun chapter, a lot of cool elements, and as mentioned, had that incredible 2-page spread. So I think I can give that to that one.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have something that really, really stands out this week. I think I'm also going to go with Ichi. I think that the continued really strong visuals are kind of the clinching aspect of it for me. The prophecy that we got to see, that 2-page spread, the ending visual with everyone squaring off, everything, exciting.
Yeah. My character of the week, I think I am going to give to Isho from Akane-banashi, who I thought was kind of dark and unnerving in this chapter in a very fun way. I like that moment of just like, you're free to decline if you want to burn that favor you just got.
He seems like he really doesn't want to do any favors for
He's just like, hey. Yeah, like Akane's like he opens the door for her or something like that, and she's like, oh, thanks. He's like, that counts as your favor.
He mumbles under his breath while he's like, after you if you're
She has to stand there and wait for the door to close so that he doesn't get credit for the favor. He's like, dang.
Damn it. Oh, do you want the last slice of pizza? Actually, a nice try, motherfucker.
I know your game plan.
Like, you would never offer that to anyone.
He's like, fine, then I shall enjoy it. Savor on your flavor while I savor on this mozzarella.
There are two things that I value above all else. Rakugo and mozzarella.
I like a good. What would be the weird fucked up pizza? He's like, a good Hawaiian pizza. Like, I think not only does pineapple belong on pizza, nothing else deserves to be on pizza. That is true art.
I think he would go for like a really weird combination of stuff. So it's like Hawaiian style, but also Chicago deep dish.
There's a lot of
just like a massive pineapple slices.
Yeah, it's actually like pineapple juices in the sauce as well. It's a really festive pizza.
Ugh.
The audience, by the way, picked. Sorry, did you pick your character of the week?
I did not. I think that mine is going to be Helzebub.
Oh.
I really like the conversation that he had with Kiyoshi in this chapter. There's some nice little character moments in Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi this week.
The audience, by the way, picked Chinatsu as character of the week and then Ichi the Witch as chapter of the week, which makes sense. Both characters and series make a lot of sense. So that is going to do it for Weekly Manga Recap.
Yeah, guys, thank you for joining us for the recording. We will be back sometime next week. It's going to be thrown off in some form due to Thanksgiving and travel plans and stuff. So it's not going to be Wednesday. We're not sure what we're going to do yet. So stay tuned. Follow us on social media. BlueSky. Quinn is at T. I am at Nick F. Time and Manga Recap. You can also follow the WMR Votes account so the polls go live so you can vote favorite series and P and contribute to what we say as the audience voted on for both of those next time. We post everything to YouTube, youtube.com/Weekly Manga Recap for opening sequence by Malajack Stillet Cheddar, occasionally as well. Title cards by Steve Man, whose art you can just search up by art. We also post things to weeklymangarecap.podbean.com if you just want the audio version. It also gets cross-posted onto Spotify, onto iTunes, kind of places. Professor Peanuts is played by himself,
Yeah.
And
And in case you were worried, no, don't worry. He did expel all of his farts right before he came onto my lap. So he was like, "Hey, mom, can you give me some pets?" Okay, cool. Thanks, bud.
where was I? Sorry, something very distracting. We have a Discord server, which is linked wherever the podcast gets posted to if you would like to join our community and also get an alert when the stream starts. We also have a Patreon if you want more weekly manga recap content. Eventually support the show, patreon.com/weekly manga recap. And that'll do it until the next episode, everybody. Thank you all. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, you all are now subjected to the hell that is my life most of the time. Professor Peanuts is in a very, I want to be scratched mood. And if I stop, he just headbutts my hands until I get back to petting him. So I can't end the pot. Like, I can, start doing it, but he's going to be like, hey, why are you stopping?
What are you doing? What are you doing something with your hand that's not scratching me? Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah, he really gets upset about it sometimes. So, let's see. I can maybe slide over
Come
this
on.
way. Any last thoughts, Nick?
Come on. Ambidextrism. Come on. Yeah. Cats.
Cats are great.
That's
Bye,
my
everybody.